You know that minor offenses such as shoplifting or even arguing in public as a migrant in the UK could actually land you in deportation from this country. Yes, you heard me right. These minor, tiny, small details and you accepting caution from the police could actually see you being deported, even if you are legal in this country. Because I know most people would say, well, that's for people that are on asylum, or that is for illegal immigrants. In this video, we're going to be talking about the fast changing immigration rules and policies in this country. We're talking about how simple things that would maybe previously result in you just being cautioned, a slap on the wrist, but now actually very serious under the new immigration laws and policies. And these are coming in quick and fast. No wonder why I thought I'll make this video and we talk about it, because when I was researching and coming up with this video, at the moment about 1,500 migrants are actually having their cases being looked at with really everything inclining towards deportation. And we're talking about legal migrants. And this is over very minor offenses. UK immigration policies are changing. And we have seen increase in police powers and what they can do and what they cannot do. So that's why I thought I'll talk about it. We open each other's eyes. We really bring things into perspective. That is the status quo at the moment. Let's get right into it, where we're going to be talking about which group of migrants are affected, what it means, what people can actually do in the event that you get caught up into some of these things. What is it that you can do to save yourself? Because we came to this country to look for opportunities. We came to this country to renew life for our families and children. But that does not mean that we are immune from simple little mistakes. But with knowledge, I always say knowledge is power. When you know what you can and cannot do, that can increase your chances of really making it abroad. We live in really volatile times. If you're a migrant in this country, then this video is for you, because I'm bringing into perspective and awareness some of the things that you would know in the past. If you would accept caution from the police, then for minor offenses, you could just end up with maybe just a simple caution or a simple fine. But things have changed. So offenses varying from domestic violence, drunk driving, any misdemeanor, or participating in legal protests could result in deportation if you are a migrant. We're also talking about some of the things that you can do if you're a migrant, find yourself in such a situation, because now this is no longer about immigration law, but it is about survival. It is about really keeping things in check so that you achieve our goals. And remember, our goals where we are going to be pursuing opportunities, we are going to be pursuing our dreams and goals, but with the ever-changing policies, and these are changing thick and fast. Everything left, right, and center is just changing. So the only thing that can save you is when you know what you're doing, the effects of it, and the broader impact on the community of migrants at large. So we're all going to be talking about it, just to bring things into perspective. And disclaimer, I'm not an immigration lawyer or an immigration expert. So whatever I'm going to share in this video is what I've researched, what I've heard from family and friends. And this is not to replace immigration lawyer advice. If you find yourself in any situation, please do get in touch with the immigration lawyer, seek expert advice and stand guided. So this is just general guidance and based on what I've read, what I've researched about, because I am also an immigrant and I am staying and keeping things in check by staying informed. So let's get right into it. So earlier this year, the UK government introduced what they call the Border Security and Asylum and Immigration Reform Bill. So the motive behind this bill was to strengthen borders and control migration. It might not be as clear as that, but to me, whenever they talk about border control, definitely the one thing that clicks to my mind is the fact that the numbers have to go down. So apart from all the interventions that they've put in place to actually curb this migration issue, net migration issue, they've gone a step further. And of significance is Clause 144, which actually saw the increase in the powers of the police to actually deport literally for the minest of offenses such as shoplifting, things that you'd know previously you would get just a slap on the wrist, a fine, or just get away with a simple caution. Now those things can actually land you in deportation. This could see you going home prematurely before you even plan for it. We know what it means when one gets deported. That can actually impact your future relocation or your future visit to other countries across the globe, especially those that share immigration data with the UK. And we know the world is becoming a smaller global village. Nearly a lot of countries, due to security and stuff, they are actually sharing border control information. So no wonder why we are very aware and we are very concerned whenever deportation comes into play or perspective. Definitely it's a worrying thing. If you're a migrant, you know what that means. So that's what we are talking about, and our main focus is on this clause 144, which has seen increase in police powers to actually prepare you for deportation for the simplest of matters. And why I've decided to talk about it is because I live as a migrant in the UK, and a lot of things have been happening in our migrant communities. A lot of things that is a minor thing, things like just arguing, domestic violence, drunk driving, those things are actually rife, especially in migrant communities. Things to do with exposing children to abuse, whether verbal, emotional, physical, you name it, any form of abuse. These are the things that in our society, in our communities back home, would just be swept under the carpet. But if you find yourself really under some of these circumstances, just know that in the UK now, this is quite serious and can actually lead you to being deported from this country. One of the reasons why I've decided I'm going to make this video is out of concern, because I know I've been skeptical about making this video, but I am aware of what's been happening in migrant communities, especially for couples, especially for married people around the spouse and dependent visa. We are aware of what is happening, and it's worrying. The threats, the abuse that is going on around it, not just by employers, but again by visa holders. I'm a migrant and I'm very much married, and I know when people weaponize this visa, this could lead to situations like the ones that we're talking about in this video. I won't be drilling much about that in this video, but I do hope I'll find the courage and the will in the near future to really be talking about the dependent visa and how people have all of a sudden just started weaponizing that opportunity, which I find really appalling from both ends, and what I would recommend for couples. So all the more reasons why, if you are concerned about this visa, all the more reasons why you need to subscribe to this channel, because we talk about it, life in the diaspora, life abroad, the struggles, success, and anything to do with life abroad. We talk about it, but it's really worrisome. So previously, deportation was reserved for those very serious criminal offenses. However, under the new law, under the new policy with clause 144, even the minest of offenses can actually lead you to being deported. Before, if you would shoplift maybe or quarrel in public, you could get away with caution from the police. However, with the new policy, the objective is to really reduce the numbers, is to really nip any forms or any indicators of criminal behavior or what they deem criminal behavior in the bud. And they have started with the deportations, and there's no going back, because when I was researching, 51% of the public was for this new immigration policy, and around 42% of people, according to research, were concerned. So this is a 50-50, and the public is for this policy. So there's no way this is going to be turned around in any way. But people are worried, concerned. If you're a migrant, you would be worried. Many of you would be asking the question, so who does this affect? Previously, accepting caution was deemed to be a way of avoiding really court proceedings. But now accepting caution could actually lead to deportation. So if you find yourself under any of the things that we've spoken about and being involved with the police, if you accept caution, you could see yourself being deported. These three groups of people could be affected by this, because I know a lot of you will be asking, so if I'm a legal migrant, if I'm on asylum, am I affected? This has got nothing to do with your status in the country. So if you are on limited leave to remain in the country, which means if you're on a study visa, if you're on a work visa, if you are on a family visa, you could see this rule, clause 144, apply to you, and you could see yourself being deported for minor disturbances, minor offenses. The second group of people that could be affected by this are asylum seekers. So if you're on asylum, if you're seeking a refugee from whatever country you are from, you could see yourself being deported straight away if you find yourself getting involved in any of the minor offenses that we have actually spoken about. So there are things that I would actually encourage you to really be worried about. The first thing is getting informed. So if you're watching this video, you are on your way to getting informed and knowing what is changing and how it affects you or how it impacts you. So part and parcel of the things that you can actually do as a migrant living in the diaspora is seeking legal advice. Suppose you find yourself in a situation where you're involved with the police. Do not accept caution in the hands of the police for whatever reasons without really asking to contact your lawyer or legal advice. It's something that you have to be adamant about. The second thing that you can do is to know your rights, know what you can and what you cannot do. And you have got a right to legal representation. So no wonder why I'm saying do not accept caution without getting legal advice. Insist on it. But part and parcel of what we can do really is just avoid getting involved in any criminal activities, any offenses, especially where you can avoid it. And by avoiding that, you avoid all these things that we're talking about in this video. The other thing also that I would encourage people to do is to actually document everything. In the event that you find yourself in a situation, document everything factually so that when you are speaking to your legal advisors, your solicitors, your lawyers, you're giving them detail and they would know how to help you. It's very important that you mention all the details so that you do not waste any time, because any delays or any discrepancies could actually see you being deported. Part and parcel of what one can do is always move with your legal documents, move with your documentation, your identification documentation, where possible, always have those at hand. Why? Because in the event that you come across such incidents, minor offenses, major offenses, or anything to do with the law or anything to do with the police, easy identification. It can also help your case. It can also lead you to actually being given a chance to lodge whatever your case or to ask for legal representation. So as a migrant, these are some of the things that we can do. But on top of our priority list on the things that we can or cannot do is just don't get a run-in with the authorities. Always stay on the right side of the law if you're a migrant. There is actually growing concern from solicitors to human rights watchers to community workers. They are all worried and they've all raised their concerns as far as this clause 144 is concerned. And I will share with you part and parcel of their concerns. I came across one writing by an immigration solicitor who actually said previously immigration laws and minor offenses would not lead to such huge immigration consequences such as deportation. So this clause 144 has actually led to blurring of lines between immigration laws and minor criminal offenses. And this is very worrying because now you don't know which. Human rights watchers in the UK and those that actually advocate and support human rights have actually raised concerns to say, well, now this is leading to discrimination because offenses are being treated differently based on immigration status. An immigrant could be treated differently for the same offense a citizen would be treated. So they do watch these things and is setting a precedence. And for community workers, they have noted that this is actually increased fear amongst the migrant community. People are living in fear. People are no longer really free to talk to the police and report crimes, which could have actually helped in integration and bringing to light really serious offenses, because now people would think twice or thrice if they want to report something that they've seen to say, well, will this not lead to someone being deported? So this could hinder actually the way people integrate, the way people live in societies and communities. This also increases racial profiling, to say if you are an immigrant or if you look a certain way, definitely racial profiling is on the rise. I've been speaking to friends and families who live in bigger cities, and actually I know they would share with me to say, no, really racial profiling is quite rife, but like I live in the north, I live in a small place, in a small village, so it's not really like that. But actually, it's starting to happen with the police having been given these increase in powers to say any acceptance of caution could actually lead to deportation, and they are quite serious about what they're doing. But these are some of the implications. These are some of the sad repercussions of this clause 144. So why this really matters, again, I'll say this to say, sometimes you may be thinking, well, if I don't commit any crimes, I should be fine in the UK or as a migrant. But this is not just about that. Why I'll share with you to say, half the time really, you might fall into certain traps. Why? Because in some laws, you may never understand them, or some things you may not realize have committed offense. I'll give you a quick example. When I was doing this video and I was researching, I came across somewhere where they said just riding your bicycle on a pavement. And just guess what? Just last week, I went shopping and I saw someone on their bike in a shopping mall, and they got stopped by one of them security guards in there, and they were told, no, you're not allowed to ride in this space or in this building. Good enough that a security officer was quite nice enough to just tell him like that. But you can imagine if you come across an overzealous police person who is actually being told, this is what we need to do. A simple rule has been broken and you could get a caution for that. And again, we are talking about these police cautions for minor offenses leading to deportation. So I will reiterate the fact that now your immigration status is no longer just attached to your passport or to your visa, but it is now attached to everything that you do, from your actions to what you say, what you get yourself involved in legally. No wonder why really it's chilling. It's scary to think about. It's scary to really even start thinking about it. So with this change and with this clause 144, this in some areas is leading to overplacing, where you're seeing people being stopped and being asked so many questions, which could actually find people just being caught just to be found wanting. So it's very important that as migrants, we stay informed, we stay aware of what is it that constitutes a crime, what is it that constitutes an offense, and to understand what we need to do in the event that then you're involved in such things. What are your rights? What is it that you can do? One of the things that I will emphasize as I end this video is the fact that do not accept caution just blindly, because this could have an effect on whether or not you stay. This could lead to deportation under the new Immigration Border Security Control Bill.